Nikola Jokic is possibly one of the greatest offensive big men we have ever seen and could be on his way to winning season MVP this year in 2021. So if you like his play style, you know, you like to be a bit of a passing big man, what do they call him, the big man point guard. You'd like, you know, you want to be able to help out your teammates. I have the build for you. It is an insanely good one. It is a 7-foot passing monster, able to do a lot of good stuff. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing I want to put out there, a bit of a disclaimer, is we're actually going to be making this as a power forward, not as a center, and this is purely because the stats and the badges are better. But don't you worry, because everything else will match Jokic pretty well. And so we're going to want to go over here and grab this pure playmaking pie chart here, which is 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. If you go 3 flicks up from the bottom, you will get it, and that's the one you'll go in and want to select here. Now, we have 2 different ones to select. We have 2 different pie charts you can decide between. If a lot of people have been going with this speed one at the moment, and you know, there's these other ones. There's strength, and there's vertical here too. So this build doesn't really, I mean, you can be strong if you want with it, and you're gonna lose a bit of speed. That's the only issue. But I went with this pie chart down here, so it's actually the second from the bottom. The mixed is also another pretty good option too, just because you get more strength, but you lose a little bit of speed and a little bit of vertical. But you see, this one's really bad because these 2 are really bad because you don't have good vertical. And your vertical, well, we're going to be really good rebounders because we're going to have good vertical, and we're going to also, as well as having good vertical, one thing I should mention about vertical too is it doesn't change. So vertical, like, your speed changes quite a bit, your strength changes quite a bit. Vertical pretty much stays the same for players, unless your height is going like drastically up, or you know, drastically down in some cases. It pretty much stays the same for quite a lot of things. So having height and having a good vertical are 2 really good features of a good rebounder, along with the rebounding stats. Now let's get into the actual attributes here. We're going to start off with our passing and our post moves, and we're going to chuck just a few in ball handle. So we could put the ball handle up, but we're not going to be doing ball handle. We're going to be doing a lot of post work. We're going to be doing a lot of passing. And this build is actually so fun because you just get to post up people, and then you get to either, you know, back them down and then use these post moves, which will go up to, I think it should go up to 95 at the end of this, which is crazy. So you're going to be like finessing on these people in the post, and then if they go to double team you, then you can pass out, and you're going to have Hall of Fame timer, and there's people who are just going to be able to knock down shots, bro. It's going to be crazy. So now that we've done our playmaking, we've got our 30 there. That's all you really need. I mean, you can't get any more anyway, but you know what I'm saying. You could drop that down to 28 if you don't want a silver badge, but the silver badge is nice, and it pretty much costs like no attribute points. Let's go to our defense now, because defense is pretty important as a big man. And Jokic, well, he isn't the best defensive player, let's be honest. His rim protection and his block and rebounding. His rebounding is quite good, but overall, his rim protection, his interior defense, and his rebounding all aren't that great. But we're going to want to max out everything here to get that good 12 badges there. There we go. That's nice. And so by actually having these 12 badges, we're going to have that equates to 4 gold. And we also have this really, really good defense then all throughout here. Now, Jokic is a really good shooter, but because this is a my player build, look, we can't chuck in shooting. Like, there's some shooting, but then Jokic is going to just have to have a close shot. So this is actually probably the most reminiscent to Jokic if he'd like to do this. I just roughly did that then, of course you could there and then just chuck, I don't know where you chuck these other 2, but of course he's not the most athletic big man, But there you go, you'd have a close shot, and then you'd have some shooting. So if you want to do it like that, be my guest. And then I would suggest, if you haven't seen my other video, the badge setup I'd go with. You got 14 badges there. You could even drop it down to 12 as well. Then, so I'm not sure if that works out well. We can quickly check. But with 12, then you've got 4 sets of gold, and you're not going to get any other badges anyway, right? So you might as well just go with the 14 there, and then you can chuck, if you want a bit more, defense, a bit more finishing, but it's 2 badges, so you might as well just chuck it in your post fade. Anyway, and then so if you want to do the 3, I'd suggest going with things like corner specialist, catch and shoot, green machine, and flexible release. They're the 4 I would pick. And then your silver could be, well, actually I'd change that and I'd make it, you'd have silver corner specialist, and you'd have then you could also include like range extender if you'd like, or actually probably Deadeye would be another good option, so you can be a corner spot up shooter. Then Jokic of course has really good mid-range and 3-point shooting in real life, especially for a big man. If you don't want to do that, however, I'm going to show you another alternative here, which is a little more dominant in the post, because we do have this close shot and we have these post moves, so why aren't we making the best out of them, right? You want to chuck on your driving dunk, chuck on your standing dunk, and put on that post hook. So then you can, I think we went like this, didn't we? It's been a little while since I've made this build, so it takes up a lot of badges to get the additional. Oh, it's just off. So it's similar. It's something reminiscent to this though. So if you want a few more finishing, it's probably going to look something like this. But since Jokic is mostly a shooting big man, I'm actually going to show you the shooting build for today. We might do another video on the finishing later. So let's get that back to the sweet spot there of 59. Chuck on the 3-point shot, chuck on the mid-range shot, chuck on the free throw, and of course the post fade. We've maxed that out now. Let's go over here, and there we go. So that works nicely. Now we've got a nice close shot. So you're not going to have any dunk animations. You're not going to have any layups or anything like that. You're not going to be wanting to do those. I have another version of this build, which I might make a video on later on, where you'll see finishing is a lot stronger, so you can finish. You can kind of do layups, and you can definitely do dunks, which is really fun. So as long as you've got an open lane, you'll be dunking it, which is actually a ton of fun to do, to just be dunking the basketball. But I think probably, if you want to take this, and that was in like a My Career game. So if you want to take this into like the park per se, this is probably what you'd be looking at, is something like this. It's a little bit different to my other build, but I'm going to show you how this one works. So we have that really nice shooting there. We have that really, I changed my mind quickly about that, but yeah, we have that really nice shooting. We do have quite good finishing still, because we have the nice close shot, and although we only have one finishing badge, which is going to be a little tricky, because usually I like to have a few of those, you're still going to be able to make a lot of shots, probably with just one bronze badge, but that's all right. You'll still make a lot of good shots there, and they'll be forced to guard you anyway if you don't. The only thing is, when it comes to some of the playmaking badges, some of them are going to help you with your finishing a little more, and it'd be probably easier to finish off with a dunk or layup, which is still possible because you'll probably get around them, but you're just going to have to be a little more careful there. But you're definitely going to be spacing the floor for your team, which is a good thing, right? And you've got this really good defense, and of course this elite playmaking. So that's what you're going to want to go with for this version of the build. We'll see if I make another version of the build later on today, or maybe some other time. But for now, we're going to go with this. We're going to go with this version of the build. So if I make another version, I'll be sure to chuck it in the description. Anyway, continuing on, we're going to want to go with Burley, because Jokic is a bit of a man known for his bulk, and we're going to want to go up here to 7 feet tall. And see, our vertical does get impacted a little, especially because we're a power forward. So if you drop this down to 6'7", You lose a bit of those post moves. You get more pass accuracy, and you get more speed and better vertical, but you lose a lot of that rebounding. If you take this to, like, of course Jokic is 7, but I'm just showing you different options. So we're going to go at 7 foot, which does drop down his 3 and his mid-range and his free throw a little. But that's all right because we have the good badges. His post moves are going to go up, which is a good thing. And his rebounding and other defensive areas are going to go up, with the exceptions being his steal and his, perimeter defense and lateral quickness. So we're going to want to do that. Then we want to go over here and we want to make him lighter. It's really up to you where you go. The reason I don't make him heavier, I mean, that'll get you better interior defense, but it's only +6 and better strength for backing down your opponents. But you're going to be significantly slower and your vertical is going to be significantly worse. By making him lighter, right? So the difference is you have 76 or 63, I think it was 63 or 64. There it is. So, yeah, you want to go with 210 because you get that good speed then. You get a really good vertical, and although you lack strength, but that's all right because a lot of people are making smaller builds now anyway, which do lack strength. And this looks actually very similar shape to Jokic. I know the player doesn't look anything like Jokic at the moment. That's just kind of what one of my other players looks like. But that's also going to increase, your perimeter defense and lateral quickness, which is really good. So then when it comes to wingspan, I always like to make this, as max as possible. If you do make it shorter, you're going to cut out on your rebounding and your close shot, but you're going to get more shooting. So really, shooting's not that great already. So you're going to want to go with max wingspan for that defense and that close shot here, because you're still going to be looking to green those shots in your shooting. So now we have a lot of different options here, right? We have playmaking, which is definitely a good option. Rim protection, which is an alright option because we have, back here we have 78 block. That's the thing as well. You go down like this, you're going to get less options. You don't get the option of rim protection. Now here we have post scorer, which is another great option. But for this build, I'm actually going to go with glass cleaner, and there's a great reason that we're going to go with glass cleaner, and that's to do with one of the badges we're going to use. So for this, we get a post playmaker reminiscent of that, like Kevin McHale, Michael Porter Jr., and Lauri Markkanen, which is Kevin McHale is a beast, bro. Played with Larry Bird, tons of championships there. So you know that we're in good hands. The other version of this build's a bit more like Giannis and Sean Kemp and people like that. It's got great speed and it's able to slash really nicely. But this one, a bit more like him. So we're going to have that good post aggression. We're going to be able to pass out from the post, have that nice post fade as well as our close shot there. The only thing we are lacking is a post hook, but that is all good. So we have great defense, as we can see. We have great playmaking. Our shooting is looking quite nice. Similar to that. Whoops, we went out quickly. Let's go back in. Similar to that of Kevin McHale, as I was saying before. We're going to go back in and test it. Now as this loads up, here we go. But this build is super fun to use. You're going to be doing a lot of post work, and your speed is quite good compared to other centers, especially if they are lower overalls. So here we're going to chuck on Pro Touch because we're going to be using Big Man Layup Package, which is just the default of what every big man gets given because they can't change it. And so you're going to get some boosts to your layups, which is also your close shot, I should mention. That's also going to be your close shot. You don't need like Giant Slayer or Contact Finisher because like Contact Finisher helps with layups, but it's not going to help us in this instance. What's going to help us the most is Pro Touch, because it's going to give us an extra shot boost for having really good timing. Now to our shooting badges. This is what I was saying earlier. I got a bit confused, a bit mixed up. That's alright, that happens sometimes. I'm going to go gold catch and shoot, gold green machine, gold flexible release, right? Gold, hot zone hunter, and silver corner specialist. Now this is what I'd run. You're going to predominantly want to be shooting corner threes, right? If you're feeling, like a bit confident with your shot, you're greening a lot, a bit ballsy, you want to, mix it up a little, you can chuck on good old range extender. Or you want to take it to the next level, the ultimate YOLO, go hot start as well. So instead of green machine, you go hot start. But that's only if you're really good at greening shots. You'd probably want to switch this like that too. That's only if you're really good at greening shots though, and you're a really confident shooter already. Otherwise, this is going to have quite a small green window because we don't have the best shooting attributes in the game. This is what I would go with. Silver corner specialist is pretty much, it's very close and very similar to that of Hall of Fame. Yep, that's right. So along with that, then we're going to have, good old catch and shoot, flexible release, green machine, and hot zone hunter. So we're going to be really knocking them down from the corners predominantly, especially when you've got hot zones there. Next up, our playmaking badges. And first of all, let's equip that Hall of Fame dimer. Now, dimer, of course, this is one of the best bits, and one of the reasons I like to go power forward too, is you get all these other badge options rather than when you're a center and you get a lot less badge options. So we're going to equip Hall of Fame diamond there, which is really good, and Hall of Fame floor general to help out our teammates. So they should be making all of their shots as long as they're wide open, right? Which is crazy good. If you feel like it, you could chuck on quick first step, because you actually are quite fast. But like all these dribbling ones that you'd usually use, you're not going to be using, right? Because this is Jokic. Jokic isn't much of a dribbler. So you could put on quick first step to get that explosive first step there. But you're going to be doing a lot of post work. So I'm going to show you some of the different badges you are going to be using. But first of all, before I do that, we want to equip Flashy Passer and put that on Hall of Fame. Now you're going to be wanting to use Flashy Passes because when you do this, this badge is going to, when you complete one of these Flashy Passes and get an assist, both you and the scorer are going to get a massive boost to your takeover meter, right? So especially when you're playing doubles, this comes in super clutch because then you get, a boost to your takeover and they get a boost to their takeover. So if you've got someone who's got, sharpshooting takeover, and this is why earlier we picked the glass cleaning takeover, because then we can see, it only takes like one flashy pass, maybe two, we can already see where the rebound's going to be. We're going to have the rebounding advantage over our opponent, which is really, 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 really good, right? So you want to have this on Hall of Fame. You want to be throwing as many flashy passes as you can. And on top of, having that, they're going to look sick as well. So now we're going to go over here, chuck on Needle Threader. This is really helpful because it, helps you with tougher passes and helps them get by a defense. Especially on cuts, this is good, but when there's people double teaming you too, this helps out a lot. And you're going to get double teamed quite a bit because you're going into the post and you're going to be dominating there. So this badge essentially just stops turnovers from happening. Essentially, as long as your teammate can catch the ball, you're not going to have a turnover. That's how good it is. Now, a lot of these other ones are kind of useless, but we're going to go, there's certain things I wouldn't suggest. Certainly stay away from things like bailout. I mean, you could use it, and it's quite a good option in this case, but I wouldn't suggest it. You don't want Unpluckable and Hall of Fame either, and make sure you're staying away from, these sorts of badges here. Actually, I should just put them all in bronze so you know which ones I'm talking about. But you can put on quick first step if you want. But these sort of badges, even this not really a great badge. You want to stay away from those. Oh, and Pass Fake Maestro, it's not really great either. But all these ones, you're not going to be creating space because you're not, looking for ball handling as your primary thing. You're looking for those post moves. So we're going to chuck on Post Spin Technician. Post Spin Technician is really good. Essentially, this just allows you to spin out of that post stance there. So when you're posting up, then you can quickly spin out of that and go into the rim, especially with this example. So in my other example, the finisher, you've got more finishing badges. I think you have about 9. So then one of those 9 is gold back down punisher, which works really well because then you can push them back into the paint and then spin if need be. Now in this case you could chuck on bronze back down punisher, but you're going to have to give up your pro touch there. So that is another option if you want, and that's completely viable and completely feasible. If you want and that's your preference, go ahead and do that. But also, if you're struggling to back down people, if they got moving truck on or something, which I don't know why they would, no one uses the badge, it's not that great. But if you're struggling to push them back down into the paint, maybe they're stronger than you or heavy or something, which they shouldn't be. But if they are, let's say they are, right, you can then spin out of that, use your speed, go into the rim, and quickly get the 2 points there with a nice close shot. Along with this, you're going to chuck on Dream Shake, which raises the chances that a defender bites when doing fakes in the post and makes them much more believable. This is really handy as well. And this is also really good if you don't have many shooting badges, or you want to change some of your shooting badges, maybe you don't like the ones I suggested, you could put on Pump Fake Maestro, which is going to help you out a lot there too, right? Because that helps you with your pump fakes. Anyway, so now we have 6 left, so that's enough for either 2 golds or 1 Hall of Fame and 1 silver. Now what I like to do here, there's 2 options I have. You go gold and gold, which is pretty nice there, or you switch this and you go like that, which is another good option, because this break start is going to help you out on the fast breaks, and then you can complete some lobs if you'd like to, or you could do that. But what I'd suggest really is chuck this on, chuck this on. You're not going to be throwing a lot of lobs, right? Because that means you need a slasher on your team, right? You're going to be passing out to shooters. Let's be real, they're going to be playmaking shot creators. Silver unpluckable. You don't need anything more than silver. Anything else, really, I mean, it's going to help you out if you had like Hall of Fame on, right? But there's so many better badges. So silver's really the sweet spot for this badge, in my opinion. Hello, are we back? Okay, I think I had again. So, as I was saying, you can choose between the 3 main ones are Clamps, Intimidator, or Rim Protector, right? Now, personally, I like to go with Clamps because you've got your brick wall, this helps on your offense. Clamps will hopefully stop the enemy with your speed and your lateral quickness and your perimeter defense before you need to even end up using Intimidator or Rim Protector close to the rim. Rebound Chaser and box are going to help you with that rebounding ability. So that's what I would go with. That is all the badges there. We'll go through it one more time. Pro Touch or Back Down Punisher are what you want to go with here. Over here, whoops, we went in by accident. These are your shooting badges. These are your playmaking badges. These are your defense badges. And this is what your attributes look like. So in total, you're going to have quite a lot of badges for this one too, with a total of 57. It seems, yep, 57 is what it is. A pretty good amount, getting closer towards the 60s there. So definitely a lot of badges to work with, and hopefully quite a fun big man to play with. So that's it. That is the Jokic build. Here is the takeovers one last time. As I suggested before, use Flashy Passer and use that glass cleaner. But that is it, the post playmaker with shades of Kevin McHale, Michael Porter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen. That is the Nikola Jokic build. If there were any issues with my microphone, please let me know, because I know it did cut out a little there and it was a little awkward. But hopefully you got it all. If you didn't, let me know in the comments down below. I'll hopefully get to it. I'll, see what I can do. Or maybe I'll put a comment on this video and I'll heart it so you can make sure you can see it. It's at the top, saying anything that you've missed or something that got cut out of the video. But anyways, that's it. It'd be a big hand if you could also subscribe, so I can keep making stuff like this. Anyways, anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you later.